This is Bread in Italy, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm in a special place. It's Lanciano. This is a site of an important, well-known Eucharistic miracle, which I'm in a chapel behind the miracle, which you can see kind of right behind me over my left shoulder. And this is probably one of the most remarkable Eucharistic miracles really in all of Christendom, at least in all of Italy. Here in Italy there are about probably a dozen or so Eucharistic miracles. I've been to probably 6 or 7 of them, and this is the most remarkable in that it's the most visible and the most well preserved. So I'll take you in front of the Eucharistic miracle in just a couple minutes, but before I do that, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what happened here and what it is. So in the 8th century, there was a priest here, not in this church. The church I'm standing in now is entrusted to the Franciscan friars. It was built in the 1200s specifically to house this miracle. But in the 8th century, there was a much smaller church down in the crypt today, which I'll go down there also in just a few moments and show you that. And a priest of the Basilian order, the order of St. Basil, was celebrating Mass. And the legends and documents say that he was having doubts as to the teaching of the real presence of Christ. And when he was celebrating Mass at the moment of consecration, the bread, the host, turned into flesh, and the wine turned into blood in the chalice. So the legends say he was so surprised, he kind of ran through the streets telling everybody what happened, and the bishop came, and in time they took the flesh now and the blood and conserved it, and later passed it on to the Franciscans in the 1200s. So about 400 years later this was built, and the reliquary was built behind us to house it. So it's a remarkable miracle in that today you can see the host, which is turned into flesh, and it's believed to have turned into actually a heart. And in the early 1970s, there were some medical and scientific tests that were done on it, and they did confirm that it was heart muscle. Now, when you look at it, when we see it in just a few moments, you'll see that it looks like the middle part had decomposed, but that's not true. It was probably one of the central heart cavities that was just open, that you can see really directly through it. And probably the heart was flattened and stretched out onto maybe a panel of some sort, because there's actually little nail holes or pinholes around it. So it was flattened, and that opened up this one of the inner cavities, the ventricle or aorta. I'm not up to my medical terminology to know exactly which one. The blood coagulated into 5 sort of droplets, if you will, about kind of size of large peas. There's 5 of them, and the blood type, I believe, is AB. So the confirmation is that the heart muscle is human and the blood is human also. So, miracles like this are fascinating to see, and sometimes if we have doubts, we can come to a place like this, and this might strengthen our faith, because the priest who was celebrating Mass, he believed after that. And, in many ways, Christ comes, or at least the miracles, the signs and wonders of the Scripture, the healings, the miracles, are a sign of Jesus's proclamation that the kingdom of God is within us. So it's the signs and wonders and miracles really take place to help our faith and help us realize that Jesus' gospel is true. In this case, the teachings of the church are true. This really confirms transubstantiation, which is the teaching of the Catholic Church, that every moment a priest celebrates Mass, and when he consecrates the host, it's no longer bread. It is completely Christ's flesh, his body, and then the wine is no longer wine anymore. It has been completely changed into blood. So that's the teaching of the Catholic Church. It's not a symbol, it's not a sign, but the host that we consume during Mass, the precious blood, the chalice that we drink, is really Jesus' blood. And the host we receive really is Jesus' body. So, just a little bit more background on this, because sometimes it's, you come to a place like this and you say, wow, a Eucharistic miracle has taken place, therefore it must be true. However, every time we go to Mass, a Eucharistic miracle takes place. What is different in this is that you can actually see the change, because using medieval terminology, philosophical, theological terms, The medieval people believed, or at least they used the term of substance to describe a person or a thing or something. Let's say a tree, for example. The substance is a tree, but a tree can have different what they call accidents. The accidents are really accidental to the nature of the tree. The substance is this is a tree. The accidents are what kind of tree it is. It might be a tall tree, it might be a short tree, it might have deciduous leaves, it might have needles instead. Those are called accidents. They're accidental to the substance. The substance is the nature of what it is. It's a tree. The accidents are the features, if you will. So the church teaches that the bread and wine, before it's consecrated, the accidents are what it looks like, smells like, tastes like, looks like bread and wine, tastes like bread and wine, smells like bread and wine. And the church teaches that after the transubstantiation takes place, ordinarily, even though the substance has changed, the church teaches that the substance, after a consecration in a valid Mass, the substance is no longer bread and wine. The substance is now Jesus' body and Jesus' blood. Even though you can't see the change in the substance, it has changed. Although ordinarily the accidents remain. What's accidental to the bread and wine before the consecration, the accidents after the consecration are still the same as they were before, even though the substance changed, and that's where we get the word transubstantiation. The substance has gone over to something else, although the accidents remain the same ordinarily. But in a place like this, in Lanciano, you can see how sometimes God permits the accidents to change as well as the substance in a Mass. So here, the accidents are no longer bread and wine, and the host that you're about to see, the wine that we're about to see, at least the globules, are no longer accidental to bread and wine. The accidents are now human flesh and human blood. So it would be a miracle, but really a miracle in a natural sense, at least in an accidental sense, because every time a Mass takes place, there is a transubstantiation and a miracle, because after the consecration, the bread and wine are no longer. It's Jesus' body and blood. So we'll go ahead and go inside now. Okay, so I'm in the museum now, and I just want to show you a couple of things here that you can see. In particular, there's a sort of a blown up photograph that's illuminated, makes it really easy to see the miracle up close. So we'll look at that and then look at a few other things here in the museum. So here you can see a blown up shot of the host, which is now heart muscle, and you can see this cavity that looks like there was decomposition, but that would be one of the spaces in the heart. And here is a close-up of the 5 coagulated blood globules, as well as the host up there again. And here's a close-up of the blood globules. So I'll just kind of walk through here. Some of these things really aren't that significant, but here's an old a Roman breviary. It wouldn't be a breviary, it'd be a psalter that the monks prayed the Psalms with. Here's some monstrances and some bronzes. Here's some information about the scientific studies that were done in the 1970s. Some priestly vestments here. Again, more scientific studies here, which I'm not going to stop and go over these. They are written here in Italian. You can go online pretty easily and look up all these medical studies that were done here. This kind of explains, from a medical perspective, the heart muscle and so forth. And here's some chalices, another psalter, and again, medical information, including a cross-section of the heart. Okay, so now we're going to go down into the chapel. What's that? He's saying chapel. It's a crypt, and this is the Church of St. Longinus, and this was the name of the church when the monk from a priest from the order of St. Basil was celebrating, and this is where the miracle took place. So this is the church where it took place. It's the Church of St. Longinus. Just walk in here, you can see it. The orientation is kind of hard to understand the way it was laid out, but this is the space where the miracle was. So I'm back outside, and I hope I was able to capture kind of the just how remarkable this miracle is, because it really is extraordinary. And like I said, I've been to a number of Eucharistic miracle sites throughout Italy. There's one in Siena, there's one in Cascia, there's one in Macerata, one in Rome, at least one in Rome. And in most cases, or Vieto, in most cases you have really just kind of a piece of a paper or a linen or something like that that's kind of been stained with blood or it's got some marks on it, and then it's conserved in sort of an ornate reliquary, so it's really hard to see what you're looking at. But here it's not hard to see at all. You really get to see it. So again, I hope that this is this video with the light and everything and the quality captures really just how extraordinary it is, because this really is probably the most remarkable Eucharistic miracle in Italy, and perhaps in the entire world, all of Christendom, which I've never been outside of Italy to see a Eucharistic miracle, so this, I can only speak from here. So again, here at the Church of Lanciano, Eucharistic miracle, and just next time you go to Mass, maybe consider and remember just how the Mass that you're attending, wherever it is, whenever it is, regardless of who's celebrating, it is a Eucharistic miracle.